Hi, I'm George Greer, co-founder of Project Harmless, and I'm excited to introduce today climate scientist, activist and Scottish Influencer of the Year, Laura Young. Laura's going to share with us her insights on the impact of fashion and greenwashing. So let's get started. So Laura, what are the key environmental problems caused by the fashion industry?
When thinking about waste and plastic in particular, in every single industry we need to have unique solutions. There's not a one-size-fits-all for addressing the plastic problem. And when thinking about fashion, there are a few things that really make it just quite harmful. One is just the speed and the volume of stuff that we are producing. Millions of garments are made every single year, and the majority of them get used just a handful of times before they're thrown away. Partly that's because they're not very well made, they fall apart, and then we don't know how to mend them or look after them, so we throw them away. They're made of quite cheap materials, or because fashions go out of style and we have this really quick turnover. So we have just too much volume. But the other big problem is that we also don't take care with the materials that things are made from. So often there has been a push for the majority of our clothes to be made from some kind of synthetic fibre like polyester. And we're all familiar probably with polyester, but it's important to know that that's a plastic. And it's made from fossil fuels. So it has a big impact on the climate because we're pulling up fossil fuels to make it. And of course the environment because it's a plastic. And this creates huge amounts of waste, often which just goes to landfill, and it's going to just sit and sit and sit. And one of the questions I often get asked is, how long does it take for plastic to disappear? And partly the answer is we don't know, because it's such a new material that it's not been around for long enough for us to know how long it takes to disappear completely. It's going to be hundreds of years. But also one of the problems is it breaks down. It gets into smaller and smaller pieces, so it's harder for us to manage. And particularly thinking about clothes, there's lots of fibres that come off. They are microplastics. They get into the environment, into water courses, into ourselves. There's lots of research about just the human impact of finding plastic in our bodies. So it's a horrible material that lasts really forever and breaks down and becomes quite complex. And so we need to be moving away from covering ourselves in plastic and putting plastic out into the environment, and moving towards looking at sustainable fashion, caring and mending for our clothes, but also looking at the most sustainable fabrics, looking at how we can make our clothes out of the best things possible and taking care for them.